shows. Thank you all for being here. As Secretary of Health and Human Resources, I'm Bill Hazel. I have been following and working with this behavioral health system in Virginia, or what we pretend is one, for a long time. It has many pieces. It has the private system, it has the Medicaid system, it has the jail system, and it has the public system of the CSBs and so forth, where people go who really need services they can't get anywhere else or cannot afford them anywhere else. And I can tell you that the governor has been committed to developing this system to make it work for all Virginians. It's part of growing an economy where people can come back and be welcomed back to society and can get jobs and support themselves and their families and can stay in recovery. And it's really important. And even though we're going to talk about bills today that were carried by Delegate Farrell and Senator Hanger and by Delegate Hope, I did want to point out that we did make other commitments to behavioral health this year in the budget. The governor himself requested $30 million for behavioral health services. And even though it didn't come out of the General Assembly exactly the way we put it in, I want to tell you about a few things that did happen. We put $4.9 million in to provide same-day access. Thank you. When you decide today is the day you need treatment for mental illness or for addiction, tomorrow's not good enough, and we need to continue to work for that. And Debbie, where is Debbie? Debbie, you all here in Chesterfield have already done that. Great work. Thank you. You've shown us how to do it. We put in $4.4 million to increase the GAP program, the Governor's Access Program. This is because we don't have Medicaid expansion in Virginia, an unfortunate thing all by itself. Governor was able over the last couple of years to find ways to get medication and laboratories and doctor's visits for people with severe and persistent mental illness to try to fill that gap. It's not enough, but it's a step in the right direction, and we increased the eligibility from 80% to 100% of poverty level this year. That was a big thing. We thank the General Assembly for that. Put in $5.2 million for opioid treatment services. Another $5 million for permanent supportive housing, a big, big need if we are to be able to take care of people and help get people into recovery. $3 million for LIPOS, which is to buy inpatient beds for individuals who need services in private hospitals, and $2.5 million in discharge assistance planning. Commissioner Barber is with us today. He told me that we only have 8 people in jails on a waiting list over 7 days, and there are reasons for that. That was 10 times that much last year at this time. We've made great strides. We are doing this uphill with the hospital occupancies running at times over 100%, which is a challenge for all of us. We are going to have to work to align these systems. We have Senator Deeds with us, and thank you, Senator, for your work in this area and continuing to ring the bell. But for the purpose of today, I'd like to introduce the governor. I've had the pleasure of working with Governor McAuliffe now for about 3.5 years. It's been an honor. 72nd Governor of Virginia, Terrence McAuliffe. Governor.
Well, thank you, everybody. It's an honor to be with you here today. I thank Delegate Farrell for being with us, Delegate Hope. I want to thank our great Senator Creed Deeds, who has been such a leader on this issue and working greatly with him, and Delegate Carr, great to be with you again. Senator Hanger, great to be with you again today. This is our second event today. And Senator George Barker, who's been a leader as well, has just joined us. And Jack, it's an honor. I was saving her best for last because I got a story to tell. And I would talk about Senator Dance, but we just came from our third event together today. And we just came from where we have the new marker for loving. And today is the 50th anniversary. As you know, 50 years ago, the Supreme Court came down and said, guess what? You can marry anyone whom you love. And we had Richard and Mildred Loving, who, as you know, were arrested in the middle of the night, sent out of the state. Their sentence was they had to leave Virginia for 25 years because they were an interracial marriage and not allowed. And luckily that changed in the Supreme Court in the famous Loving case. And so Senator Dance said to my wife at the event, now I can marry your husband. And I said, Dorothy, watch out. She is one tough woman, so we don't know what she'll actually do. But it is great to be with you here today. And we're actually going to sign 2 very important pieces of legislation. As the Secretary mentioned, I want to thank Bill Hazel and his whole team who worked so hard on this issue. We, of course, always want to have the healthiest workforce. We want to make sure we're taking care of everybody, no matter where they live in the Commonwealth. The economy is strong today, getting stronger every single day. But there are a lot of individuals who need help. And a lot of people have fallen through the cracks. And that's what this is all about, to give everybody in the Commonwealth of Virginia access to the treatment that they desperately need. I hear from family members every single day, it doesn't matter where in the Commonwealth I'm traveling, desperate for help for a son or daughter or mother or father. And I want to thank all the people here who have been part of it. I want to thank the Chesterfield Community Services Board. Give yourselves a great round of applause, because you are... We have 40 of these community service boards, but I love superlatives, as you all know, but you truly are the best of the best, and I do want to thank you, and we have seen what you have been able to do. And we've actually incorporated that, and we're codifying some very important actions. We're taking a lot of them have come because what you have done, so I thank you. If someone needs substance abuse counseling or mental health treatment, family therapy, or other services, as you all know, the CSBs are really, for many people, it's the only place they actually can go. And we want to make sure if they're coming to our CSBs that we are giving them the best quality care that we can offer, and we need to do that everywhere. That's why I will sign some legislation today that will codify a number of changes to our CSB services that they, along with the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services and others, have been working and I want to thank Jack and his team who have been working very hard through the STEP Virginia plan. Thanks to Senator Hanger, Delegate Farrell, these reforms will ensure that CSBs now provide same-day access to mental health screenings and outpatient primary care screenings and monitoring services, and this needs to be done by July of 2019. And by 2021, the CSBs will also provide crisis and outpatient services for mental health or substance disorders, peer and family supports, mental health services for members of the military who are far from a Virginia facility or VA facility. Now we in Virginia are going to take care of them if they can't drive to get to some VA facility. I'd also like to mention the Secretary and I and others were just at a great event the other day where we named our new Veteran Health Care Center. I have been disgusted by the treatment of the VA towards many of our veterans. Some people cannot wait 6, 9, 12 months to get treatment. This is not how you treat someone who has worn the cloth of our great country. They serve for us, and we should be there for them. So we said enough's enough. Working together in a bipartisan way with the members of the General Assembly, we said enough's enough with the VA, and we are building 2 new health care facilities paid for ourselves by the Commonwealth of Virginia. That's how we treat our veterans here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Now, some of our CSBs already provide these services, but unfortunately, not all of them. It's critical that we ensure that all of our CSBs can provide the same kind of services, whether you're in Fairfax County or Dickinson County. This is especially important as our CSBs are a frontline defense in the opiate epidemic that we now have here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. This is a tragedy that is occurring. And under the present statistics we're looking at, we could hit 1,400 this year. I was with the governor of Maryland the other day at an event in Annapolis, and I was shocked to hear even they're a population of 3 million less than us. Maryland just reported last year they had 2,000 deaths of opiate addiction. I mean, the whole region is being affected by it, and now it's putting more pressure on you here at the CSBs. We got to make sure we're doing everything that we possibly can. We need to bring that number down, and Chesterfield has been a great example of how changing the way services are provided can yield great outcomes. In July of 2015, the Chesterfield CSB implemented same-day access to assessments. That means when someone decides to seek help, that they can come right in, they can talk to someone immediately and get an appointment for the key clinical services that they desperately need. We all know that sometimes it can be difficult enough for someone to say, I need to seek treatment. So they call up to get an appointment. In order to get in and screened, we want them in as soon as possible. But you know what happens. They end up skipping the appointment. They decide they don't need it anymore. Before, Chesterfield was seeing a 40% no-show rate. People who need the services would call to make the appointment, but when facing days or weeks of delay, they just said, forget it. But now, guess what the rate is here in Chesterfield? 0. There is a 0 no-show rate. So give yourselves another great round of applause for that. So not only are we getting folks in on that same day, which is critical, we're getting them their needed services faster than ever before. The wait time for an adolescent seeking substance abuse services was cut to 12 days, down from 40. And the average wait for the first appointment with a clinician is now 5 days. This shows that same-day access helps more people get community-based treatment services when they actually need them. That's what we want to see statewide, and I want to thank Senator Hanger and Delegate Farrell, as well as Senator Creed and the Mental Health Commission that he leads in helping put these improvements in place. This will now be done statewide. The other bill that I will sign today comes from Delegate Patrick Hope. It is meant to fix an issue in our system that has arisen as our state mental health hospitals find themselves increasingly full capacity. The Secretary gives me a briefing every Friday that I take home from all the different agencies, and we are nearly 100% capacity every week in every report I get. That is just unacceptable. The result is that Virginia, like many other states, has had to maintain a wait list now for hospital beds. Folks who are in jail but should be getting treatment end up, as you know, staying in jail entirely too long. The Department of Behavioral Health and Development Services has been working to reduce those wait times, and in many cases, they are now under 10 days. Delegate Hope's bill will ensure and make Virginia's law consistent now with federal standards. His legislation will provide that when a court determines that a defendant needs treatment to restore competency before a trial, that defendant must be transferred within 10 days from the time of that court order. Virginia's behavioral health system is full of dedicated, hardworking people. I thank all of you. You are the front line of our healthcare delivery system, and you are the front line when people are truly in need and in desperate condition. And I thank you, and it's our job as responsibilities as those in public office to give you the tools and the resources so that you can do your job effectively. I'm proud to sign these two pieces of legislation to reshape and modernize our behavioral health system and better serve all of our Virginians. Thank you very much. Okay, first, Delegate Hope's bill, 1996. I think you all realize the issues we've had in our jails when someone's been in there with a mental health illness should not be there. You just think of poor J. Michael Mitchell, who was in jail for taking less than $5 of food and starved to death in a jail. It's just unconscionable. Okay, there we go. First one. Delegate Farrell, 1549, and I will say, you know, Delegate Farrell has announced that he is leaving us. He is leaving the General Assembly, but I do want to say I've had a great relationship working with him in a bipartisan way on education and economic development. I'll say he will be sorely missed. We wish him great luck in his next endeavor, but it has been a real honor, buddy, to be serving with you, and I thank you for that. Okay, there we go. Fancy new office years. Senator Hanger's Senate Bill 1005. Okay. Pens in one day for Senator. I'm going to make a Democrat out of him yet. That just killed his campaign. I'm sorry. He's got a couple of years. Let's hear it for Senator Hanger, if we could.
Well, thank y'all. Governor, have you got a couple extra minutes?
I do.
Oh, okay. Because I need to digress, since you didn't invite me to the third event of the day.
Yeah.
The loving. Y'all just celebrated that?
Yes.
Well, I got a story to tell,
How are you?
and this will take me 2 minutes, but I have an interesting
Senate time? Or?
an interesting family history. On my mom's side, she was a Clark, a descendant of old Joe Clark, up on Irish Creek in Rockbridge County. And back a couple decades prior to the Loving case, there was a case in circuit court in Rockbridge County where one of my relatives, Atha Sorrells, challenged a fellow named Walter Plecker, who was the head guy here in Richmond at the time, about mixed marriage. And his ruling was that if you had a drop of blood other than white blood and you married someone outside of, then that was a mixed marriage. Well, my relative from up on Irish Creek challenged him in Rockbridge Circuit Court because we have Cherokee blood. We're part Cherokee. And at any rate, she won the case in the Circuit Court of Rockbridge County, and so it didn't have to go to the Supreme Court.
Oh,
You might not have been here. I mean,
What do you know? What do you know? What do you know?
you should have spoken at the event.
Well, you know, I was busy, and the reason why I was late, Senator Deeds and I and others that are here, because we speak to this legislation that Delegate Farrell and I had the opportunity to have our signatures on. There was actually, what you could say, a cast of thousands that actually supported this initiative, including the administration with the governor and Secretary Hazel and Jack Barber, the commissioner, and all of their staff working together. Certainly, it's been an honor for me to chair one of the subcommittees of the SJR 47, which was instigated Senator Deeds, and that we're working good. And then we were working today, from 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock today. We were working diligently, planning and plotting our strategy for this year, and I think we've all in agreement that we're going to do some big things, or we're going to propose some big things. Whether or not we can get everyone to buy into it will be another story. But certainly Secretary Hazel is a fellow that I've enjoyed working with, as well as the governor, because Secretary Hazel's determined to leave his imprint on the system here in Virginia before he heads north again. And I think he's doing a good job of it. Let's give him a hand. He needs a hand. Yeah. For me, this was an important initiative, but a part of the broader puzzle that we're trying to piece together. And I thank all of you who played some role in this. Thank you very much.
Since he digressed, I'll digress for a second. If he asks if you had an enemies list, which I really don't because I love everybody, but if I had one, Plecker would be on it. This guy was the clerk of records, and I'm telling you, I deal with this today. All of our Native American tribes are trying to get federal recognition. We cannot get them here in Virginia because Mr. Plecker destroyed every record if you did not have 100% white blood, as he called it. And it has caused such controversy for our tribes here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So when you hear that name Plecker, this man was a horrible individual who literally destroyed every record of any person who did not have 100% white blood. Little piece of history you can take back tonight with you. Now, he called you governor. I'm still keeping you Delegate Farrell.
Governor, thank you very much for having me. I'll be brief, as I'm at least taking a reprieve from the public sector, as one may call it. It's a cynical time in government and politics today. I don't think anybody denies that, and I think that's really too bad because that tone really, it takes the spotlight away from some really good work. And I encourage all of you to go down, if you want to see the exact opposite of that, go down to the Deeds Commission and watch it. Because you're going to see people who are Republican and Democrat are working their tails off on this stuff. And we've been doing it for a couple years. And they got nothing but every Virginian's best interest. So I say that, so take some faith. And there's some really good public servants up here and who are not here today either. I say that, as cynical as it is, there's some people working in a bipartisan way better than they ever have. So I take great faith in that going back to the private sector. I look forward to the next couple of years watching what you propose and succeed with. And I'll be sitting there having a cup of coffee in the morning, smiling, knowing that I got to play a small part in it. And I'll be very proud of that and very proud of the work you guys are doing. And Cree, serving with you has been one of the greatest honors of my public life, so thank you very much. With that, Governor, this bill even though a few sentences long, is really going to help some people. So I thank you for signing it, and thank you all again very much.
Delegate Hope, Patrick?
Delegate Hope, everybody realizes that he came from Northern Virginia. He had his papers, so it was okay for him to cross the James. And I'll get him back before curfew.
I have to be home before dark.
Right, I'll get him back before curfew.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and thank you, Governor, and thank everyone for assembling today. You know, trying to deal with our mental health system is a very complex issue. And over the summer last year at this time, I got all the advocates together. Jennifer Faison from the CSBs are here. We have NAMI Virginia that was present. Got the department, the sheriffs and the regional jails, everyone come together. Jack was there, and we asked just one basic question: what is it going to take? What are the few things that we need to do to make sure that we don't have any tragedies that we've seen over the years in jails, and making sure that people are getting the proper services that they need? And what came out of there was the bill that we just signed into law. And it's going to do some really good things because, to your point, Governor, you know, no one thinks that J. Michael Mitchell should have spent long in jail at all. I don't believe he should have spent a minute there. And to be there for over 100 days, and when the court said that he needs to have psychiatric inpatient treatment and him not to get it, we need to make sure that doesn't happen again. And it's for everyone like that. And so this bill will go a long way, and I want to thank you, Governor, for your leadership. We are making some significant progress. There's much more work to do, like, for example, making sure that we keep people out of jail in the first place who don't belong there, who have serious mental illness. And so that's going to take a lot of work. And I know the leadership of Senator Deeds and his commission is going to go a long way toward doing that. And I like what you said, Delegate Farrell. You know, to play a small part in that is a huge honor. And so it's good serving with my colleagues, because right on down the line, everyone is committed to doing the right thing. There's a lot more work that we need to do. Everyone knows it. And I can't think of a bunch of people who are more willing to get the job done and continue to make progress. So thank you, Governor, for your leadership. I really appreciate it. Secretary Hazel, thank you so much.
Thank you. Let me bring up to close the program today someone who has been passionate about this issue for a very, very long time. He has been a leader on this issue. We all listen to Creed Deeds on this issue, and we are a better Commonwealth because of the leadership that he has showed on this important issue. Senator Creed Deeds.
You know, I think it's important to think about the context we're in. I want to thank Governor Terry McAuliffe and Secretary Hazel. Governor McAuliffe has probably been the most active and the most proactive when it comes to mental health of any governor we ever had. Now, my job, our job is to make sure the next governor signs the next set of legislation, the legislation that essentially transforms our system. The scary thing about Jermichael Mitchell is that everybody, the cops, everybody in the court, everybody in the CSB already knew him. They knew he didn't belong in jail the moment he appeared, the moment he was arrested. We have so much work to do to make sure we can provide throughout the state the sorts of services you have in Chesterfield County. We have a lot to do, and I appreciate your efforts, and I appreciate the efforts of everyone who's been involved so far. Thanks.
Dorothy, we want to thank you. We want to thank everybody involved here. I just want to thank the Chesterfield Community Service Board. Spectacular. You are the true saints. You are on the front lines. We just thank you for all the great things that you do. Jim, thank you to everybody else here at the local who support the communities. And on behalf of Secretary Hazel, we want to continue to lean in. We want to fight for every single Virginian we have. Every single one of them deserves a fair chance, and we're going to make sure they do. Thank you.